Hi, Donny Dave here. I'm just about to set off on a trip to Scotland. This trip basically replaces the Tet trip I was going to do. Obviously that went tits up because I didn't prepare the bike properly. So I decided just to transfer my gear onto the road bike, my Tiger 800, and do a trip roughly based on the NC500. I haven't really managed to do any preparation for this. It's just something I had in mind. I've got a pocket map of the route, and I've got paper maps that I bought in anticipation of doing it, but I've just not really planned it. I've just put a route into my beeline to take me up to Inverness, which is really the start point. That's 400 miles from here. I'm going to do that in two parts, so I'll split it maybe roughly halfway, I don't know, but I just want to clear the cities, so I'm not stopping near the cities where bike theft is an issue. I'm literally just taking my Rhino Walk duffel bag and the top box this time, so really I've just stuffed all the gear that I had for the Tet trip into the Rhino bag and the top box, and changed my jacket and some stuff so it's a bit more suitable for a road ride, but that's about it really. But as I say, nice shiny new chain and sprocket. It's even got grease on it. There you go. Well, I've made it into Scotland, heading towards Lockerbie. Don't really know where that is. I've heard of it. I took the back roads. I've avoided motorways completely, and I came a fairly familiar route really. I skirted the A1 and up to Scotch Corner, A66, Barnard Castle. Routes that I know quite well. Followed that route out to Alston, which is actually one of my favourite roads, and I went through a place called Middleton in Teesdale, which is a lovely little village, and that's where I had my first stop. Stopped and had some fish and chips there, really nice. And it's a great road, but also I found another really nice road out of Alston. And then I've been on back roads ever since. For navigation really I'm relying on the windy route on my Beeline navigation system, so I just put Inverness in as a destination. Don't expect to go that far, well, don't intend to go that far, but that's pretty much where you pick up the North Coast 500 that I'm going to base this ride on. But I don't want to stop near any cities, so I thought if I stop short of any cities, I'll skip them tomorrow then and hopefully get to the other side of the major cities and stop somewhere top side of Inverness. So I'll probably look at the maps any time now. I could stop really, it's 4:30, but I feel alright at riding, and it's quiet on these back roads, a bit breezy, but it's a nice day for biking other than that, so I think I might press on for another hour or maybe a bit more. And when I get to a bit more built up area, I'll look for some accommodation. I've decided to stop in this town called Moffat. It's a really nice place actually. There's a few pubs and places to eat. It's a nice sort of town square and everything. So I decided to stop here before I get towards the big cities. Once I go through Edinburgh, I'm kind of in built up areas then really for a while. I think it's about 6 or 7 hours to my destination for the start of the NC500. So I'm happy enough to stop here for my first day. There are a couple of other bikes parked up here, which is a good sign. So I can park straight opposite the hotel. This is the hotel I'm stopping at, which is the Star Hotel. I have good reviews online, and I'm stopping in the basically the bay window above the front door there, so I'm actually looking out over my bike, so that's quite handy. And this is the view of the town centre. Looks pretty nice. This is my room for the night. This is a massive family room, like a suite, on the first floor at the front of the hotel, overlooking the town square, and I can see my bike out of the window. The story behind this room is that I looked on booking.com when I came into town and I found a room here for £81 and I had a look at the reviews, and the reviews all said it was a great room and all that, great hotel. But rather than book it on the app, I decided to come into the pub and see if I could get it cheaper. By the time I got in, that room wasn't available anymore, and the only one they had left was this. And I didn't want to put my stuff back on the bike and start searching around for another place. I'd had a look round, there wasn't many under £100 anyway. And she said this was the last room available, and I thought, it's my first night, I don't want to risk not getting somewhere, so I thought I'll spoil myself and take this fancy room. So just about to leave Moffat and head out on day 2, which is going to be up to hopefully get me past Inverness, and then hopefully get onto the ride proper. I've just been talking this morning to a couple from France. I really wanted to make the effort to try and communicate to them. My French is not very good, but it's quite interesting, and when I was loading the bike up, the guy came out of the hotel for a smoke, started talking to me again, and quite enjoyed that. A bit of practice for when I do some foreign travel, I guess. Not that my bit of French will be much use anywhere else. Straight out of Moffat we're onto some really nice roads, sort of lowland areas, but it's really beautiful twisty roads, good visibility and great views. Obviously a sort of forestry area, but the landscape's kind of taking on that sort of Scottish feel to it, so I feel like the trip's started now, even though I do need to get through the cities really. This is the Forth Road Bridge. I'm now in the Kinross area. I think this is the first glen really that I've been in. I think this is classed as a glen. Quite a nice twisty little road running through it. Feels quite Scottish. Glen Devon it is apparently, according to a sign that I've just passed. I know when I get up onto the North Coast 500 the roads will be busy with tourists, but these roads are just empty. I'm glad I took the scenic route up because I wasn't in any particular rush, and today is probably the best day. I think it's going to turn to rain after this, so at least I get to ride some nice roads in the good weather. I say that, I'm the first car for a while. I just stopped at Kinloch at a Starbucks just to get a coffee because I've been riding for about 3.5 hours this morning, and I decided while I was there to look into some accommodation. My
destination for today was to get to Inverness, because that's really where the North Coast 500 starts. But I didn't want to stay in Inverness, so I put a search in for places to stay on booking.com, and I'm ending up going to stay at Loch Ness. It's not that far away, it's about 14 miles from Inverness, I think. Probably a bit east of Inverness, but it doesn't really matter. So I managed to find a place at Loch Ness which was quite a bit cheaper than last night, although I'm not sure if it includes breakfast. But there's a couple of shops and what have you around it, cafes, that kind of thing. So hopefully it's not in a place where bike theft's a real issue, but also it's a nice place to have a walk round. So I've booked that and rerouted myself on the Beeline app. So that's currently saying 2 3/4 hours from where I am now. Might be a bit optimistic, but if I said 3 hours plus maybe a stop, that would get me there by 5 o'clock ish. So I think that's about right. So it might make sense really to book accommodation at lunchtime rather than leaving it too late, which I think I did yesterday. And ended up having to buy an expensive family room at 118 quid. A beautiful room, but a lot, you know, it's like 4 people, so it's not really what I needed. And it was a bit too expensive. I can't afford to maintain that on this trip. So I'm quite happy with what I've booked for tonight. So I might play it by ear as far as accommodation goes. I have just been talking to a couple of Scottish bikers outside the Starbucks, and they were saying that there isn't that many places to stop. Quite few and far between on the North Coast 500, so I think it might be a problem booking accommodation as you go, which is a shame because that's what I wanted to do, so I don't have to commit to a certain distance. The weather forecast is fine for today. I think it turns to rain certainly by the weekend. They were saying it's rain at the weekend, but on my phone it's showing rain from tomorrow, so I guess it just depends whether I actually hit the rain or not. So it's nice to get some miles done while it's dry. We'll just have to play that by ear. This is Pitlochry. It's a place I have been to many years ago. In fact, I think there's a big whiskey shop somewhere and I bought a hip flask from it. But it is a nice place. That's a nice Citroën de Chevaux. Cool. I diverted off the A9 to go through Pitlochry so that I could top up fuel, take a layer off because it is quite warm now, and also took the opportunity to reroute my Beeline. When I reset it, it was taking me on the main road. It was going to take me on the A9 for 80 odd miles, and it's a nice enough road, it's nice views, but I decided now I've booked accommodation, I'm not in any rush, so I've altered the route to the fun route, which basically defaults to the wiggly roads, which is a bit more fun, and hopefully I'll get to see perhaps some more places than I would see if I stuck to the main routes. I'm back on the A9 and I've officially entered the Highlands now. I've just passed a sign that says I'm in the Highlands. It has been quite busy, although the road's just quietened off a little bit now. So I'm officially in the Highlands and I'm heading towards Loch Ness, which is where I'm stopping tonight. I've just visited the statue that commemorates the commando units, and I did manage to take some still photographs, but I couldn't get a video showing the statue in its context because there was beautiful views from there. There is a car park and there was a busload of tourists there, plus quite a few cars, so it's very difficult to get to the statue clear of people basically. But it was worth calling and just paying respects really. This body of water that we're just crossing now is the Caledonian Canal. Saw a sign for it a bit earlier last time we crossed it. Just coming into Fort Augustus, which is the start of Loch Ness. I mean, I'm actually staying near Loch Ness, but I guess it's a pretty big loch because I'm 25 minutes away from where I'm stopping. So I guess this is one end of it. So that's Loch Ness on the right. First time I've been able to see it when it's not obscured by trees. Yeah, that's an indication of the size of Loch Ness from this angle. Just arrived at the Loch Ness Centre, which is where my hotel is. The hotel is that there, the Drum Hotel Loch Ness, but it's got some outbuildings. I guess it's kind of more like apartments just up here around the back there, above the gift shop and so on. I think my room's up there, but I'm going to move the bike round the back rather than be parked in front of the main road because there is a car park round the back. Looks cool. It's got a restaurant so I can get something to eat, so that's I'll probably do that before having a walk into town. Moving into the car park, it looks like there's several other bikes parked up here, so I think I'll stick it with the other bikes. Not quite room there, but I'll shove it in this corner. This is my room at the Drum Hotel at Drum Nadrochit. Not quite as opulent as the previous room, but it's got everything I need. To be fair, I've got a telly, a kettle, plug, or socket, so I can charge my phone, 2 or 3 in fact, and a little bathroom. Oh, the toilet's taking forever to fill up. That's alright. The difference is this was £70 and the one last night was £118, and they're both plus breakfast. So there's a big difference in price. And realistically, this is all I need.